It was January '68. It was 2 days before the Tet Offensive. We're in the hooch, which is where you sleep, and the first sergeant came in and said they want to volunteer to go to a convoy, which is a shotgun on a convoy. So nobody raised their hand. And I'm saying, but I'm thinking, I get shot at. Yeah. So I said, okay, I'll do it. So everybody turned around and out going, ooh, all laughing at you, going, bye-bye. So I didn't know. So I didn't even know what to take with me. So I took everything I had. And when I got outside, I met the driver, which I don't know his name. And he looked at all the stuff. It was it's like Beetle Bailey. I was carrying all this stuff. He says, you don't need this, you don't need that, you don't need this. I said, I don't know. And then he showed me the truck. And the truck was unique because it had the windshield, which you can kick down. It's glass. He had sandbags on the front. He had sandbags on the floor. He had an M60 machine gun between him. he had a thumper, which is an M79 grenade launcher. So he was ready. I wasn't, but he was ready. Then, just was it midnight he came by? He said the convoy leaves at 5 in the morning, at sunset, at sunrise. I said, okay. So all the stuff that I didn't take with me, the first sergeant took back in the hooch. But we went there, went to what they call the staging area. So you can't sleep because I was jumping anyway. So after a while, all these other trucks started forming up, and then the MPs came in. They would lead you. And then he reached to a side, and it was a bottle of Jim Beam. He said, want some breakfast? And anyway, so he said, no, you got to have some. So I said, anyway, so that was his breakfast. So nice guy though. But then we drove off. I think we went 30 miles northwest. But they end up in K, in what they call Death Valley. And going there was kind of unique because once you go off the main road, the paved road, it's all, and you don't drive slow. Once you start, you don't let up. So he was going so fast. I swear he was knocking people's porches off their house. But the kids were waving at you, and they were throwing candy out, which you see all the time. But you don't. My brain was not what. Finally, he said to me, he said, "Now you got to keep your eyes open." He said, "And it's nice being, because now because you don't know." So that's when you kind of stood up and you had the M60. So basically, what you were doing, he said, "You don't see anything you don't like, you shoot." I said, "Okay." But all this time, we didn't know I didn't know where I was going. He did, but I didn't. So we got to what they call K, the base, and it's a rubber tree plantation. So we went through all rubber trees. It's pretty neat. So we got there, and then we were driving what they call a Connex truck. It's like a box truck, and we were carrying radios to replace the ones that were damaged. So it's all mattresses on the floor, mattresses on the side, so the radios, if they jump around, they wouldn't break. So we unloaded the truck, and he said the idea was we were going to stay overnight and head back in the morning. It's okay. But then the CO up there come out and says, we got reports of activity, major activity around where we are, and we're going to dig extra holes, which is extra foxholes and stuff. So that's what we did for an hour. So we made all these extra holes. And as it turned out, I went to bed and we were laying in the truck. And about, I don't know what time in the morning it was. That's when the first rocket hit to where we were. And they also had a helipad for helicopters. They hit that first. And then it was like a 4th of July. It was like bam, bam, bam. So he knew what to do. I didn't know what to do. So he jumped off the truck. I just sat up and I'm looking at all this. I was kind of just frozen. Then he grabbed me by the chest and he pulled me off the truck. He says, follow me. So the same hole we dug, that's where we ended up. And they hit us for about 2 hours, and then it eased up, and then it was sunrise. Then again, we went out, and the guys that were there, that were stationed there, they went out checking the wire like we did where we were. And we didn't know what was happening, but apparently Tet hit all over the country. So we were just one of many.
First day.
We just one of many. So then what happened, we were supposed to take off the next day, which we couldn't. So 2 days later, they figured it was okay. They went out, they cleared out what they had to clear out. So we packed up the truck, and there was an MP Jeep in front. They started to go out the gate, maybe 20 yards, and the MP Jeep pulled up. And that wasn't good. So we went back, waited for the next day, and then we were standing by the truck, and he was showing me how to throw a knife. I never threw a knife. I used to fight with a knife, I never threw it. And then, so I'm up there, and they started throwing what they call lobbing and rockets again. So me and him were back in the same hole. When we come out of the hole, we went back to the truck. That tree we were throwing the knives into was gone. So my thought was, if the first one hits a tree, we wouldn't be doing this. But anyway, but then at that point, I get angry. At that point, I'm saying, the bastards are trying to kill me. I said, what did I do? So then that changed me from then on. From then on, I was angry because they were trying to kill me. So that was my turn, was to stay alive, was to kill them, basically. When the opportunity arises, because that's what happens. You got to protect yourself.
So no, that convoy, was that a one-time thing, or were you repeatedly doing
No, that was the very first one. But then, as often as I could, I went.
Okay.
Because being relegated back, you can't go from there back to what you were doing. It didn't make no sense to me. So anytime somebody needed a shotgun to go with them, even to go Saigon to pick up water, I will. So.
Had you had the training on, you said the M60, or was
No,
it?
I never shot an M60 in my life.
So you did.
No, but the funny thing is when we first got there, they were gonna teach you how to shoot a shotgun. I never shot a shotgun. So they have you kneel down, they put the shotgun in a hole, and they pull the trigger. So it was like the Three Stooges. I knelt down, I pulled the trigger, and the recoil sent me ass over teacup. Then you realize, but even in basic training, when you were shooting a rifle, I never knew recoil and stuff. I always had a black eye, but anyway. But the M60, the guy, when we were out, what he calls was a safe area, he says, this is what you do. And he showed me. So it was like a fan thing anyway. You take down a tree.